At an emergency meeting, President Park Geun-hye told her foreign affairs and security officials to take stern measures in the case of a North Korean provocation. Just 2 weeks after a massive earthquake shook Nepal, another powerful earthquake has struck, killing more than 60 and injuring over 1,000. And severe drought in North Korea. Satellite imagery shows the isolated state's lakes and reservoirs are drying out. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, May 13th. I'm Luke Clary. President Park Geun-hye held an emergency meeting of foreign affairs and security officials on Tuesday, instructing her government to take stern measures in the case of a North Korean provocation. South Korea is also pushing for military cooperation with Japan to help address threats from North Korea.
At the year's first meeting of foreign affairs and national security officials, President Park Geun-hye defined North Korea's development of submarine-launched ballistic missiles as a serious threat. Unlike the concerns of some experts, however, she stressed that South Korea can counter the threat if the kill chain and Korean-era missile defense system are made more effective.
군사 대비 태세를 철저히 하고 만약 북한이 도발할 경우에는 단호하게 응징하라고 지시했습니다.
The South Korean military's counter-strategy to North Korea's SLBM is extending the ROK-US alliance's ground kill chain to cover the seas as well. The on-sea kill chain will involve American spy satellites monitoring the North Korean submarine and South Korean destroyers and patrol planes tracking them down. Then the Aegis radar system will detect the submarine's location before the ROK-US allied forces strike it with a missile. In tandem with the ROK-US partnership, South Korea will also push for military cooperation with Japan, which is sensitive to North Korea's submarine development. Seoul will consider taking diplomatic countermeasures through the UN, as U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is slated to visit Korea on May 17th.
Yet another powerful earthquake, this one of magnitude 7.3, has struck in Nepal just 2 weeks after a massive 7.8 magnitude quake shook the mountain nation, killing thousands. Now, in the latest quake, so far at least 60 people have been confirmed dead and some 1,200 injured.
Nepal's parliament building shakes violently. The assemblymen rush to escape. Scores of people rush to the streets in a panic. A powerful earthquake of magnitude 7.3 struck Nepal's northeastern region of Kodari, located about 80 kilometers from Kathmandu, on Tuesday at around 12:50 p.m. local time. The government of Nepal said that so far 50 people have been confirmed dead and about 1,200 injured. But the number of victims is expected to rise as many structures in Nepal are weak and landslides continue to occur in mountainous regions. The South Korean embassy to Nepal said so far there have been no ethnic Koreans among the victims. The South Korean government will dispatch another emergency response team to Nepal on Wednesday to find out if any Koreans, including tourists, had suffered damage from the earthquake.
North Korea is suffering another severe drought this year following last year's serious dry spell. Satellite imagery shows dried out lakes and reservoirs all over North Korea.
This is a lake in Changsong County, North Pyongan Province, near the Yalu River. As recently as a couple of years ago, the lake was surrounded by a dense forest and filled with water. But a satellite image taken last year shows the lake completely dried out, bearing its cracked bottom. There are 124 depleted lakes and reservoirs all over North Korea, according to research fellow Curtis Melvin of the U.S. Korea Institute at Johns Hopkins University. The arid conditions are especially serious in the Hwanghae region, considered the North's breadbasket. The drought has even undermined power generation as well as the production of drinking water and water for farming. North Korea's state-run Korean Central Television reported heavily on the year's first rice planting and explained how to use less water when transplanting rice seedlings.
윤광이 포전부터 천모내기를 시작하였습니다. 올해 높은 알곡 증산으로서 승리자의 대축전장으로.
But concerns are mounting that the drought will cause far more serious damages this year when compared to last year, with extensive areas in the Gangwon, Yangang, and Hamgyong provinces receiving only half the usual springtime precipitation.
Police have apprehended a 40-something man who falsified details of his younger sibling's death in order to obtain a bigger insurance payout. The sibling had been living abroad, and the scammer forged his death certificate with help from overseas and using his previous experience working for an insurance firm.
The International Crime Investigation Unit of the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency has arrested a 49-year-old man identified only as Seo for allegedly forging the death certificate of his younger brother who had died overseas in order to receive a high insurance premium. Seo has been found to have worked for an insurance firm before. Seo conspired with a Filipino pathologist to forge the death certificate of his younger brother, who died of a disease in the Philippines back in March. The two allegedly received a fake diagnosis that Seo's brother died in an accident to receive around $210,000 in insurance premiums from 14 insurance firms. Seo testified to police that he knew he could obtain up to around $360,000 more if the cause of his brother's death was stated as injury instead of disease. When insurance premiums are claimed for people who have died abroad, insurance firms have no choice but to rely solely on death certificates issued by local doctors.
보험 설계사였던 형이 전문 지식을 이용하여 국내에 별다른 서류 없이 그것만으로서 청구해도 지급이 가능하다는 그 허점을 노리고.
Police have expanded the investigation under the assumption that more similar crimes may have been committed.
Recent research suggests that more than half of Korean adults finish their meals in less than just 10 minutes. Now, doctors say that the faster you eat, the greater the risk of developing an unhealthy fatty liver.
Office workers get up as soon as they scarf down their lunch. Some finish their meals within 5 minutes and wait for their co-workers to finish eating.
빨리 먹고 일한다 이런 개념으로 살다 보니까 굉장히 빠르게 먹는 편이에요. 기다리지 못해서 다른 짓 하는 경우도 있고.
In a study of 8,000 people who were examined at Korea University Ansan Hospital, 52% of them finished their meals within 10 minutes. How does such an eating habit affect liver conditions? Kyung-wook Samsung Medical Center studied the relationship between the occurrence of non-alcoholic fatty livers and eating speeds and found a positive correlation. When a person feels full, an appetite-suppressing hormone is secreted from the gastrointestinal tract. It takes 15 minutes for the signal to tell the brain to stop eating. But when a person eats too quickly, they tend to consume more calories before this hormone can be secreted, resulting in the accumulation of abdominal fat and a fatty liver. Therefore, eating slowly and thoroughly for more than 15 minutes will help prevent fatty livers and other adulthood diseases.
Research into edible insects has been gaining speed in Korea recently because insects can be a rich source of protein. But persuading more consumers to actually eat insects remains a challenge.
This farm specializes in insects. Larvae that have just hatched from eggs are placed into separate containers, where they are left to grow and mature in an ideal temperature for several months. The farm has been enjoying high profits by operating a hands-on learning center dedicated to insects and by raising and selling insects. In addition to raising insects, research into edible insects is also gaining pace. Insects have emerged as the food of the future because they're rich in nutrients and can be raised in an eco-friendly way. An event was held recently to persuade the public to eat insects. It showcased cookies made with yellow worm powder, strawberry jam made with cricket powder, and even deep-fried insects.
먹어봤을 때 엄청 맛있어요.
곤충이 들어가 있잖아요.
네.
맛이 좀 달라요?
아니야? 그냥 저걸로 그냥 잼으로 만든 같아요.
Korea's insect market has grown to around $266 million, while the number of companies cultivating insects has surpassed 600 and continues to grow each year.
Planting rice manually is a rare scene in the city. Follow us to a small field inside a Seoul park where children try their hands at planting rice and learn the importance of the daily staple in a fun, hands-on way.
A folk band plays its traditional instruments. Children wearing boots reaching above their knees carefully step into the rice field.
뭐가 안 끊어지기 위해서 4개에서 5개를 심는 거야.
With help from adults, they try out planting rice seedlings in a line, giving space between them. Their hands and feet are covered in mud, but they're immersed in the task, touching, feeling, and planting the seedlings. Here, we have children creating tiny rice paddies in water bottles. They pack in soil and water and carefully push in the young plant.
손가락 한 마디 들어가게요. 예, 잘했어요.
Having planted their own rice, the kids suddenly feel responsible to give care and attention until the green plant fully grows.
저만의 눈이 생겼으니까 이제 이 눈을 앞으로 계속 소중하게 심어야죠.
The novice farmers were reminded of the value of the daily staple, having worked the soil and planted the rice with their own hands.
The Cannes International Film Festival will open early Thursday, Korea time. No Korean movies made it into the competition category this year, but 4 Korean films have been invited to the non-competitive section. Here's more.
The 68th Cannes Film Festival will kick off in the French resort city in the early hours of Thursday, Korean time. 4 Korean films have been invited to the festival's non-competitive section, including The Shameless and Madonna. Actress Chun Do-yeon, who took the Best Actress award in the 2007 festival, has been invited to this year's event as the heroine of the movie The Shameless. TV drama actor Choi Jung-won, a former member of the musical duo UN, will return to his singing career after a break of 7 years with a new single, Don't You Know. The song is a remake of Lee Mun-se's ballad of the same title. Choi's version accentuates his trademark low-key voice. Singer and actor Kim Hyun-jung entered the new recruit training center at the Army 30th Infantry Division on Tuesday to begin his military service. He was sent off by actor Bae Yong-jun, the head of Kim's management agency, among others. Kim was mired in a scandal recently after his former girlfriend filed a lawsuit demanding approximately $1.4 million in compensation for the violence she suffered at Kim's hand.
The number of entrepreneurs in Korea has reached 6 million, but those who eventually fail outnumber those who manage to succeed. To survive the fierce competition, many store owners have come up with ingenious ideas. Let's take a look. This Chinese restaurant in Siheung, Gyeonggi Province is packed with customers at lunchtime, but it looks like any other Chinese restaurant. What makes it stand out is an apparel store located inside the restaurant. Customers can shop for clothing while waiting for their food to arrive. The store sells clothes for babies, children, and women.
엄마들 같은 경우는 애들 데리고 옷 사러 가기가 힘든데 같이 밥도 점심도 해결하고 옷도 사고 이러니까 너무 좋은 것 같아요, 엄마들한테는.
The apparel store is run by Ko-in's son, whose parents own the restaurant. This way she can help them with the restaurant while running her own business. The store's monthly sales surpassed $910.
가게가 또 특이하잖아요. 다른 곳하고 좀 다르게 손님들이 그걸 보시고 아 굉장히 좋은 아이템이다라고 생각하시면서 또 오세요.
This floral shop opened in 2013. You can find out its secret after the sun goes down. Every evening after sunset, the shop owner entertains her customers not with flowers, but with liquor. She learned bartending because she was always interested in cocktails, so she decided to combine her floral shop with a bar.
굉장히 상큼하면서도 이제 꽃향기가 많이 나는 술을 사용하면서 항상 저희 샵에 있는 장미랑도 너무 잘 어울려서.
Here's another unique store in the Hongik University area, which is known as a hub of art. The store is decorated with all kinds of accessories, guitars, and albums, which create a unique yet nostalgic atmosphere.
기타나 우쿨렐레를 치면서 차 마시고 얘기를 나눌 수 있는 그런 곳입니다.
Many of the store's customers are interested in musical instruments. They come here to play the instruments while sipping coffee. These one-of-a-kind stores have captured the hearts of their customers by thinking outside the box and offering unique experiences. And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.